Welcome to the Fourth Step Podcast. On each episode, we interview recovering addicts and learn their story with addiction. Through exploring personal journeys, we get a glimpse of the depths addicts fall to and their path in recovery. We hope you enjoy the episode. Welcome, everybody, to the Fourth Step Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I am an addict.
I'm Charlene, and I'm an addict.
Hi, Charlene. How are you?
Dead on. How are you?
Good. Good. Are you ready for this?
Yep. Very nervous.
Very nervous. That's nervous. Okay. No, it's okay. We're just going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
So where are we?
These are in lovely Ireland.
I know we're in Ireland.
Newry. Just
Newry?
near the border. We're like on the border. Part of us is on the border and then part of us isn't.
So of Ireland and Northern Ireland.
Yeah, so the south and the north. But
all right.
Yeah, we're just...
This is where you grew up?
Yep.
Nice.
I grew up here.
Okay. So Northern Ireland, technically.
Yeah,
okay.
Technically.
All right. So in the Four Step Podcast, we ask questions about, like your fears and reservations and resentments and all that stuff. But we also like to start as in your childhood.
Yeah.
And see what went on in your childhood. You know, like most people... Most addicts have something that they grew up with that made them feel different, or they had feelings that they wanted to get loaded.
Yeah.
To change the way they feel.
Yeah.
So we like to explore that. It was like trauma or significant things in your childhood that happened.
Yeah.
And I imagine, being growing up in Northern Ireland, that was pretty heavy.
Yeah. Whenever I was growing up, we were growing up towards the end of the Troubles. So, it wasn't as severe as my mum and dad growing up, but whenever I was growing up, the Brits were just, they were leaving, but they were still very active in up round Bessbrook and stuff. And that's where I would have grew up. I lived up there. Well, I didn't live. I stayed up there with my auntie and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she had children the same age as me. So, you'd be out at the weekend and you'd be on your carry out and all. And the next thing you'd see the soldiers crawling up the bank to get to us to, just start a load of trouble. And if they got you, you got a beating from them, and it didn't matter if you were girl, boy, whatever, child or not, they beat you if they got you, and on that wee road, there was huts, so there's huts, so they could do a checkpoint, so they'd stop your car and they'd search your car and stuff, but there was huts throughout that road. And we were always told, never go into them huts. If they call you, run and keep running. And it was only years later that I found out that they were pulling girls in and raping them in the huts. And there were children that they were pulling in. So it was awful. So it was.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's just terrible. And then, there was a weekend, that... We weren't good. We weren't good children, we liked a wee bit of trouble, So we were throwing stones and petrol bombs and stuff, and then they were chasing us, and
So you had a lot of interaction with the military.
Yeah, just
as a small kid.
Well, I was about 13, 14. Yeah. So I was, around that age, and I started using around that age too, because you're in Ireland, it's socially acceptable to drink, so
yeah.
Everybody, it was just, we didn't think of it as, whatever. It was just, you had your carry out, and then you went and you started a bit of trouble with the Brits for a bit of crack, so you done all this here, and this was all, it was all was all normal. It was normal for us, you know. It was normal for us to get a beating at the weekend from them. It was normal for us to get a chase, and you know. And then like, whenever the riots were going on, like that I was saying to another member, you know, like the game was not to get hit by the water cannon, but there was a game that we played with the water cannon. They would take out the water cannon, and you would be like trying to dodge it. Because if you got hit by it, you got dragged along the road and it was fucking sore, like, you know. So your goal was to not get hit by the water cannon.
But it was a game for you guys.
You know, so it was a bit of crack, and it was just the normal because we were used to it, you know. So if there wasn't trouble at the weekend, it was sort of like, fuck, it's a bit boring, you know. So it was all normal.
I mean, from an outside perspective, that's a little crazy.
Oh yeah,
like normal people.
Yeah, well, like once I sit and think about it now, and if I thought that my daughter was like doing this here, I would be like, no, I'd tear her radiator or something. You know, she wouldn't be getting out if I thought that she was doing half the stuff that I done. You know, but it's just, it was what you sort of grew up in, you know, and like again, we were coming to the end of the troubles, so it was nowhere near as bad.
So as a really small kid, it was still more violent.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like there was always hijacking, and there was always, you know, like I can remember walking down to go to the shop, and there was all these masked men standing in the alleyway, and you know they had guns and all, so they were standing there, and they would say to you, you'd be walking, they'd be like, yeah, young, my last name, and they'd be like, you need to get home, there's going to be trouble tonight. And then you'd be like, oh God. So you'd be like, but I have to go to the shop, and they're like, get to the shop and get straight home. So you'd run to the shop, and then you'd run straight home, and you'd be like, oh God, and they'd tell my mum and dad, and they'd be like, right, no bother, sure, just stay in the garden or come on in, do you know? So, and then like once ever all the hijacking was going on, you weren't allowed out, you know, because it was
these were members of the community?
Well,
would you say they were IRA?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Some of them, yeah, you know, and it was just like, we grew up in where we are, like it was very, you know, like there would have been a lot of members around this area, you know, so it was just what you were used to. Do you know, like I remember we used to sell the cheap cigarettes, do you know, and I can remember Mummy and Daddy going out, and they were saying like, don't open the door after like 9 o'clock at night, and you'd be like, right, okay, and then like the door would knock at 10 o'clock, and you'd be at the door, and you'd be like, I'm not allowed to open the door. And you'd be peeking through the letterbox, and you'd see them all standing in the garden with their masks on, holding guns, and you'd be like, fuck, I'm dead. And then be like, here, we just want a packet of fags, give us that packet. And you'd be like, we're not allowed to open the door. And they'd be like, put them through the letterbox. You know, we know your dad, don't worry and all, but we're good and all. And we were like, right, putting the cigarettes through the letterbox, and then them handing you the money through the letterbox.
How old were you?
I was about 8 or 9.
So 9 years old, you're selling black market cigarettes to the IRA?
Yeah, do you know, it's just all normal. Do you know, it was like, right, okay. And then, do you know, you were like, it would like leave you like, oh, fuck, that was a bit scary, you know, but in a weird sense, you sort of, it sounds crazy, but you sort of knew that you were safe.
Yeah,
I
get that.
Do you know, so you knew that you were safe, especially whenever, you know, they were like, oh, don't worry, we know you and all, and you'd be like, all right, okay. Do you know, and then you'd be like, right, and you'd feel a wee bit, you'd feel safe, so you would. Do you know, and then, like, you just got on with it. Do you know, you was just like, right. Do you know, and then, like, all that stopped. The peace thing came in, so it did, and like it all stopped. And then there was a few, you know, like ceasefires that were broke and stuff. And I can remember sitting in my friend's bedroom and there was a ceasefire, and I can remember sitting and this big massive bang, and my head was up against our wall, and it like went forward and hit back because the bombed the barracks. So that was the end of that ceasefire.
Wow.
Do you know? And then I remember we were sitting, there was another ceasefire, and me and my mum were sitting in my mum's bedroom, and you could see all over the town. And we were sitting, and there was this like big light that went across the sky, and my mum like pulled me away from the window, and I was
It's another bomb.
I didn't know what it was, and the bomb the barracks down in the town, and that was the end of an hour ceasefire, do you know? And then once ever it happened, everybody, I just thought it'd break again, do you know? And like I always remember that once ever we were going into the town, you know, like with your friends and stuff, you were always warned that if there was a bomb scare, to get home, make your way home. Do not go with the crowd, make your way home. Do you know? And it was like, right. So you knew that if like somewhere was being evacuated, to make your way home, straight home, because like where I live, we're basically like right on the town centre, like on the edge of the town. So all I had to do was run up the hill and I was home. Do you know? So if you like, I remember people, it was really bad. The people were like, if there was a bag left, and somebody had left their bag sitting and ran into a shop, the place was evacuated because they thought it was a bomb.
Yeah.
Do you know? So it got really, really bad like that there. So it did, and you like a few times I just ran home because I was always told, make your way home. Don't follow the crowd. Do you know? And I never knew why don't follow the crowd, because there was always the fear that they would say that there was a bomb, like say in the shopping centre, and you were being like evacuated over to another part of the town, and that bomb would actually be there. Do you know? That's you know. So you always made your way home. Do you know? And as a child, you knew that.
That's a lot of fear growing up.
Yeah, it was. But as a child, it was like it's just normal.
Yeah.
It's just normal, do you know? And then like there was just all that stopped, and then you know you had to make up your own fun without getting into trouble, and that
Like dodging water cannons.
well, you know, that was all part of it too, you know. But like once ever all that there stopped, like everything was really quiet for a wee while, and then you know, like people were starting to rob cars and all that there. Not that I ever done anything like that, because I'm a good child.
Yeah, of course you
but you know, all that there was happening, and then it was like my friends. Like there was a lot of childhood abuse. Like with my friends, a lot of them were abused, and like a lot of them were abused. I would say probably them all. And I do believe that I wasn't abused because who my daddy was. Do you know? So a lot of my friends ended up getting abused, and do you know, like it was very like nobody knew. Well, I didn't know until a couple of years later, and it was like
they kept secrets.
Yeah, do you know? So there was a lot of that went on, and it wasn't they were getting abused by family members or anything like that there. It was just people in the community, do you know? Well, one person in the community, and it was just like, what? Do you know? So that was all very like, oh my God, I can't believe that actually really happens, do you know? Because whenever I grew up, my mum and dad like done absolutely everything for us, you know, that they could. And yeah, we got grounded or we got shouted at, but we were never bait. We were never,
Yeah.
anything like that there, or sexual abuse, nothing like that there ever happened our in our family, but for that to happen to friends, it was like, oh my God, does that really happen? So that was like an eye opener for me that it was like, I can't believe this really happens to.
So you'd have to have feelings around that anyways, even if it didn't happen to you.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, I still don't understand them feelings. I really don't. I feel awful for the girls that it did happen to. I feel just terrible, but I'm like, thank fuck it didn't happen to me as a child. Like, that would be soul destroying for them girls, and it's just, I don't know, I really don't, I try not to think about stuff like that there because I have a wee girl and it would destroy me, like, it really would if anything like that ever happened, and I try not to think about all that there now because, like, it's not nice. Somebody taking somebody's innocence.
It's not, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's just, it's horrific, and for them girls, that's awful, but, I'm just, that sounds so selfish that, I'm glad it didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
But, it's like, I just don't know. I don't know.
It's tough. It happened to me.
Yeah.
I got molested as a little kid.
Yeah.
And I don't know about in Ireland, but in the States for a long time it was taboo, or people don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Especially men.
Yeah.
But even women don't want to talk about it because then they get blamed for it.
Yeah.
And there's a whole stigma around it.
Yeah.
But luckily in the program, for us now, it's more common to share it.
Yeah.
So people can get help.
Yeah, and that's great. That is really great, and also it is, and it's great to hear somebody sharing about that in a meeting because, like, people are sitting there and they're like, I'm different, and then somebody says,
a secret.
Yeah, and somebody turns around and says, like, I was abused, or I was raped. It was like, oh my God, is this person talking to me?
You're not alone.
Yeah, because, like, my story, horrific things happened to me in a relationship, and I thought, no, I don't think this would have ever happened to anybody else, and somebody else had shared about something similar, and I was just, my jaw was on the ground. I was like, whenever she was doing her share, I was convinced that the woman that I went to for help to get me into the meetings, I didn't know about them, but I thought she told her my story and she's telling my story just so I'd be like, oh, this is...
It's a trick.
Yeah, I honestly thought that there. And the more I talked to this other lady that said her story, I was just like, holy God, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because the similarities were just, it was mind blowing. So it was, and for me to be like, no, this never happened to anybody. I'm special. It's only ever happened to me. And then to hear somebody share my near enough exact story, it was like, oh my God, like, I'm not so different after all,
Yeah.
And it was so good to realise that I'm not different.
And that made it easier for you?
Yeah, a whole lot easier.
Yeah, that's great.
A whole lot easier, and to just to know that there are other people that went through the same things, and if, like, I was always told that if you don't hear something, keep coming back because you will eventually hear something.
That you can identify.
Yeah, and I did. I heard it loud.
Yeah.
And it was just, it made getting clean that wee bit easier, and it made me not feel like I felt I belonged.
Yeah.
Do you know?
So back to your childhood.
Yeah.
You were getting loaded, or did you start out drinking first?
Yeah.
Because it's so common.
Yeah.
And you're throwing Molotov cocktails or petrol bombs.
Petrol bombs.
At like 12 or so?
Yeah, 12, 13.
12, 13?
Yeah.
And you're drinking. When did drugs show up?
They showed up, I'd say about 16. I was about 16.
Mm-hmm.
And my first drug, was a joint.
So pot?
Yeah. So that was my first joint or my first drug, and I did not like it at all. It left me like all cottonmouth, paranoid rack, thinking, oh God, no, I can't. So I didn't.
So paranoid.
Yeah, so I didn't really take the weed. So I didn't. And then the party drugs showed up.
Cocaine.
More ecstasy and speed and all that there. So I took my first ecstasy tablet at about 16 and absolutely loved it. Loved it. Do you know, I remember taking one and being like, this isn't working, give me another one. And I took another, and then I was like, this isn't working, give me another one. And then I was just in an awful mess, and I loved it, do you know, because I was just completely, it took me out of, do you know, myself.
Yeah.
And
looking back, do you recognize, was that the aha moment where like, oh, I want to do this?
Yes.
Because I don't want to feel that?
Yeah, do you know, because once I grew up, I was a goth, do you know, so I got
goth.
Yeah, and then I was a punk, and then I was a goth again, and I got bullied a lot for being a goth, you know, and you had people telling you that you worship the devil and that I'm going to hell. I had old ladies telling me that I'm going to hell and all. And I was like, yeah, see you there, bitch. Do you know, it's just all, it was crazy. And like my mum, she was alternative too, do you know, so my mum like embraced absolutely everything about me. She loved everything.
So unconditional.
Unconditional.
That's great.
You know, and like no matter what, I walked down the stairs and my mum, beautiful, gorgeous. I might have looked terrible. My mum, beautiful, gorgeous, class. You know, so I try and do that. My daughter, she's alternative, so I do that with her. She comes down and I'd be like, absolutely gorgeous. And I'd be like, what is sure? Do you know? But it's like gorgeous, do you know? And because my mum gave me that confidence.
Yeah, your mom modeled.
Yeah, do you know? So I want to give my daughter the confidence.
That's awesome.
That she can wear whatever she wants and feel comfortable in it. Do you know? So I was bullied a lot. So I was, and to get that escape for a couple of hours was just what I needed. Do you know? And then it went from ecstasy to speed. And then it went from speed to acid. And I just loved tripping, loved it. It was just unclass. Do you know, like where my house is here, this used to be a big massive field, and this is where we used to use.
Oh, really?
Do you know, in the field just up from my house, sitting here tripping balls, loving it in the summer. It was just great, do you know? And then it was always getting. You always lived for the weekend because you knew what was happening at the weekend. Do you know? So you just kept going, doing what you had to do to get to the weekend, and then, you know, it stopped for me for a wee while. Like I met a fella. He didn't drink. He didn't smoke. He didn't do drugs. And
so you stopped doing drugs for a guy?
Yeah, for a guy, and that lasted me and him were together for a long time, like, but me not doing drugs lasted, I'd say, about a year. And then I went back to drinking, and then it went back to ease, and then it went back to acid. And then it was just like, he looked after me. Once ever, you know, I was in a mess or whatever, he would look after me. And then we were together for about 7 years. And
It is a long time. How old were you when you guys got together?
16, 15, 16.
Uh-huh.
And we were together 7 years. And then we went to Liverpool, the university over there, and he came back and he says to me, like, "Look, if you come back, we'll move out and we'll have a family and, you know, we'll do all." And I was like, yeah, okay. So I came back and nothing ever came of that. Like, we didn't move out, we didn't start a family or anything. So I split up with him and was out one night and had a one night stand and ended up pregnant with my eldest son.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and I told him that I was pregnant, and he was like, right, okay, we're going to move in and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I was like, right, okay. So we moved in together.
And you didn't tell him it was somebody else's?
No, this was a different, like, the fella that I had the one night stand with.
Okay.
I told him that, you know, and he was all like, yeah, and all. So we moved in together, and I was 3 months pregnant, and horrific things happened in that relationship. Horrific things. And so I...
When you say horrific, are you talking about abuse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a lot of domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
There was other stuff too. And it was just, it was fucking terrible, you know. And I was so young and I was pregnant, and I wanted my children to have what I had, a mum and a dad that loved them, you know. And I thought I wanted a bad boy, and fuck, did I get a bad boy? I don't want a bad boy, thank you very much, you know. So I stayed in that relationship for too long, and while I was pregnant.
Too long?
Yeah.
Beyond the expiration date?
Yes. And whenever I was 6 months pregnant, he broke my pelvis bone.
Ugh.
So I had to go to I went to the hospital, told them that I fell downstairs, you know, all the usual shite. And they prescribed me really, really, really strong tablets, painkillers, really strong. And I was taking these tablets.
While you were pregnant?
Yeah, while I was pregnant, because I couldn't walk or anything. And so I was taking these tablets while I was pregnant. And the more tablets I was taking, the more that whenever he beat me or whatever he said, it just went over my head. You know, it wasn't affecting me as much. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't hurting me as much, you know. And I thought, this is great. These tablets are fucking, this is it, you know. And then...
So you got hooked on those? Huh?
Yeah.
Do you remember what they were?
They were tramadol and cocodamol. And then, what you call them ones? Lyrica. They're like...
Yeah, I don't know.
They're crazy. And then I can remember thinking that I cannot bring a child into this. So I went to my mummy and daddy and I told them that I was moving back home. And they says no problem. They didn't ask why. They didn't ask any. They just says no problem. And I moved back home, and I think a week later, I went in to have my son. And by the time I got out of the hospital, my dad had my old room all done up like a wee nursery with my bed, with a bed in it, and like a nursing chair, and it was all done up for me and my son, and then I still continued to use them tablets. So I did, and I started then running with these other people, and they were from Dublin and stuff. And I now, whenever I look back, I know that I had postnatal depression. I know I had it.
Yeah.
And I remember going up and down to Dublin, and I remember going to Dublin and like coming home and all, and I just remember giving my mum and dad my son and saying, he's your son now, and left. And I went to Dublin, and I was down in Dublin for a while, and like,
you're just getting loaded into partying.
That's Dublin, a lot of stuff happened in Dublin, a lot of stuff happened in Dublin that no woman should ever have to, just a lot of stuff happened down there. And if you can't tell, I'm a real daddy's girl. So my daddy texted me and he says, you have 2 days to get home. And if you're not home, I'm coming to get you. So daddy said that, I straight home. So I come home.
Your dad to Dublin.
Did not want daddy down there. And I come home, and mummy and daddy set me in the living room, and they says to me, they were like, Charlene, he's your child. You need to look after him. And I was like, right. And they were like, look, we'll take him at the weekend. You can still go out. You can still have a life and all. And I was like, right, okay. So during the week, I was still using, still just couldn't stop.
But still having to raise your son?
Well, people say raise. I don't think I ever did. I do think that my mum and dad raised my child for the first maybe 2 years of his life. And so that was all right. And I was just surviving, and I was just living for the weekend, to get out, to get away. And
so you're just a party girl?
Yeah, and then I ended up having another one night stand, and I ended up pregnant again. So
you're fertile.
Very. So yeah, I cannot do, not only can I not do drugs, I can't do one night stands, apparently. So I ended up pregnant with my wee girl. And I tried to stop using with her and all, but that I told him that I was pregnant, and he was like, it's not mine. I was going, right, shocking, I wasn't expecting that. And I was like, right, whatever. But he was still in contact, and he was still looking to meet up and stuff, even though I was pregnant, not with his child apparently, but he still wanted to meet up with me and all. And yeah, I still met up with him, my self-worth was on the fucking ground, so I didn't care. I was just, no bother, and I was meeting up with him and all. And then on Paddy's Day we were out, and I wasn't actually using Paddy's Day, and we were in the bar, and we were dancing, and my friend, she looked at me and she was, Charlene. And I was like, what? And she was looked at the ground, and I looked at the ground, and there was this big puddle of blood. And I was like, oh, fuck. Look at her. So I went up to the bathroom, and we were in the bathroom, and I was bleeding very, very, very heavily. And your girl, she was like, what's going on? And my friend was like, I think she's having a miscarriage. So they rang the ambulance for me, and I rang, and I was taken to the hospital, and they scanned me, and I got scanned, and the doctor was like, he was like, there's your baby there. And I sat up on the bed, and I was looking on the ground, looking for my baby. And I was like, where? I got there, and he was like, here. And I was like, and I looked, and he's pointing to the screen. And I was like,
so it wasn't a miscarriage?
well, it was a miscarriage. I was having twins, and I lost one. And I didn't know that I was having twins.
Wow.
And I lost one. And then I was like, he was like, there's your baby. And I was like, he was like, a healthy heart and everything. And I was like, right. We got there, and then they told me, they done tests and stuff, and then they told me that it was a twin, but obviously it just wasn't developing as much.
Is that heartbreaking for you?
Yeah, it was, you know,
shocking.
And it was like, oh fuck. It was just like, oh shit. Did I cause this? Do you know, and like, it was like, yeah, I probably did cause it because of using, and, you know, I probably did, and I did, you know, and that's just what was laid out for me. Do you know, it was laid, do you know.
It brought on a lot of shame and guilt.
Yeah, a lot. Like, around my children, I have a lot of shame and guilt. Like, a lot. Do you know, and it's just, like, it was just very, it was like, oh, do you know, you're meant to be a good mother from the day that you find out that you're pregnant. You're meant to protect your babies. You're meant to, but I didn't, do you know. So it was just very like, oh, fuck it. Do you know, it was like, I'm a cunt anyway. Do you know, that's the way that I felt for a while. Like, I'm a cunt anyway, so fuck it. Do you know, and then I had my wee girl, and I can remember feeling this feeling, and I didn't know what it was, and it was Christmas time, and we were in my mum and dad, and she was in the living room, and I remember me and my mum were sitting in the kitchen having a smoke, and I was explaining it to my mum, this feeling, and I was like, I don't know what it is. And my mum looked at me, and she was like, do you know what that is? And I was like, what? And she was like, that's love. And I was like, what? And she was like, that's love. Because I just could not, it was like this feeling, once I've ever looked at my wee girl, that it was just like this warm feeling, and I'm going to do everything I can to be a good mummy, and, you know, I'm not going to let you down the way I let your brother down. Like, my eldest, I'm not going to do that and all. And my mum was like, that's love, do you know. And then I was like, for about a week, it was like trying to get my head around the fact. I'm not saying that, do you know, I didn't love my eldest son. I loved him unconditionally.
Yeah.
And I still do, as you can tell. But I love him unconditionally. But it was just this.
For your daughter, it was different?
Yeah, it's not that it was different. It was, I wasn't using for that wee while, do you know. And then I
understand now.
I got very in my head about it, and I got this shame and guilt came over me for the miscarriage, for my eldest son, and it was like, I can't do this. Do you know? I was like, I can't. I shouldn't be a mummy. I can't do this. I don't know how to be a mummy. Then my mental health hit the floor. And I went back living with my mummy and daddy. And I was talking to my mum, and told my mum how I was feeling, and she was like, right, we'll get you to the doctor. So I told my mum on the Friday how I was feeling, and we couldn't get into the doctors until the Monday. And I can remember it just all got, that Friday, everything got so much. People were talking to me, but it sounded as if they were talking in reverse. And it sounded as if, you know, they weren't. The only way I can explain it to somebody is that people are talking to you, but they're not talking to you. They're talking like at you in reverse. So I'm like, why are you doing this? And Mummy was like, doing what? I was like, why are you talking funny? I stopped talking funny, you know. So I had...
Were you having a breakdown?
I was having a breakdown, but I didn't know that I was having a breakdown. And then that Saturday night, I can remember being on my knees in my mum's bedroom, begging her, just let me go over to the fields and I'll hang myself. You and Daddy won't have to find me. Somebody else will have to find me. I was trying to convince my ma that it was a good idea to let her daughter go and kill herself. Do you know, I was like, the kids will be okay with you and Daddy. You and Daddy, you know, you've done really good with all of us.
Can you imagine how heavy a thing that is for your mom to hear her daughter say that?
I know. And then I can remember that night, my dad slept upstairs, and my mum took me into her bed, and I slept in my mum's bed. My dad slept upstairs with the kids. And I can remember my mum sitting up and scratching me here on my head to put me to sleep. And I can remember that I dozed off, and I woke up and I turned around, my mum wasn't in the bed, and I thought, right, this is it. I can get out and do this. And I remember getting out of the bed and getting to the front door and opening the front door. And the next thing I got rugby tackled by my ma. And my ma, it wasn't well. Do you know, my mum had MS. Oh. And this woman rugby tackled me. And where are you going? I was only going for a walk. And she was like, no. She was like, get into bed. So she stood guard at the door all that night and all the next day. And then I got to the doctors, and I was put into a psychiatric hospital. And then I was prescribed crazy tablets, but then I started taking the other tablets, the painkillers. I started saying, oh, my back's sore and this sore, and they were like, no bother, because I was prescribed them. So they were giving me them, and I was saving them. I was banking them, and then I was having a fucking field day a couple of days later in a psychiatric ward. And then I met someone in a psychiatric ward.
Of course you did.
I fell in love. I ended up.
High as a kite.
I ended up engaged. I left.
In the psychiatric ward?
Yeah, so I left the psychiatric ward with a mental health problem and a fiance. Not many people can say that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then he moved in here, and I was heavily medicated throughout that relationship, and I ended up pregnant again, and I used throughout that pregnancy.
So 3 kids?
3 kids.
3 different dads?
3 different baby daddies.
I have 3 kids, 3 different moms.
Oh, yay!
So you're not alone.
I know, do you know?
Yeah.
But it took me an awful long while that I could be able to say that.
Yeah.
Do you know, because I was
I understand.
yeah, I was very like, slut. Do you know?
Same.
Yeah. So, but now it's just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't care. It's like,
You got 3 beautiful children.
exactly. They're my world. Do you know?
Mhm.
And like 3 different baby daddies, a pick a mix. Do you know? It's like a pick a mix. It's all right. It took me an awful long while that I could laugh about it. Do
Yeah.
you know? But it is what it is. Do you know? I wouldn't change it for the world.
You know what I tell people? I was just spreading the love.
Well, that's very true. I just like to say I was popular.
I just love people.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
Do you know? But it is. It's just part of my story, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
You know, my middle kid is my daughter.
Right.
And when you were talking about your daughter, I was like, oh, I feel the same way about my daughter.
Yeah.
I think it's a different type of connection for me.
Yeah.
You know, a dad and his daughter.
Yeah.
I would do anything.
Yeah. So she's your wee princess.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's just...
And she was she had a little bit of trouble when she was a teenager.
Yeah.
And it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. Do you know?
Because I know what can happen.
Yeah. I'm having that with my eldest at the minute too, do you know, and it's just... He knows, do you know, like all I can do for him is stay clean. And he can see...
You set the example.
Yeah, do you know, and he can see that it works.
So you've met Jake.
Yep.
That's what Jen and I are doing with him.
Yeah. Oh, that's all.
Set the example.
That's it. Do you know, and it'll all work out.
Yeah.
Do you know, it really will. But my baby, he's my baby, and he's no more a baby than my eldest. Like, he's coming 12, but because I used throughout the pregnancy with him, he has he's on the spectrum, so I blame myself for that because I used throughout the pregnancy. Yeah, do you know, and he's my baby, and yes, I treat him like a baby, and he's so baby that it's actually probably doing him more damage. So
harmful.
Yeah, do you know, because it's like he can't get his own clothes. Do you know, like...
How old is he?
He's coming 12.
And he can't get his own clothes?
No, so do you know, or his sister will get them, or, do you know, he won't, he's only recently started coming downstairs by himself. Do you know, because, again, I babied him, and it's just... I've just babied him too much. Do you know, through purely for the shame and the guilt.
Yeah.
Do you know, and then, like...
That's a real heavy motor.
Yeah, do you know, and then I used throughout that pregnancy and everything, and then he was born premature, and he was put in the SCABU, the special care unit for babies. So he was in there for about a week and a half, and then I was sent home from the hospital. So there was like that separation too with me and him. You know, whenever he was first born, he was taken straight off me, like straight into SCABU, and I didn't get to SCABU. Yeah, special care unit for babies.
I guess
special care unit
we
for
would call
babies.
that a NICU.
Yeah, so it'd be a NICU.
Okay.
And he was taken straight in there. So, and then I was taken upstairs, and they gave me all, like, my nighttime medication. Like, all this nighttime medication, and I took it all, and I passed out. So I was panned out in the bed, so I didn't see him for... I'd honestly, I don't know if it was a day.
How old were you?
I was... What age was I? 30. 30, yeah, 30. So I was panned out in the bed, and I can't remember if it was a day or if it was an hour. I couldn't tell you how long it was. And then I can remember I remember waking up and being like, I need to see my baby. And I tried to get out of the bed, but I had a epidural, so I couldn't move. So I asked one of the nurses to take me down, and we'll take you down soon and all. But I felt paranoia kicked in, and I was like, they're trying to keep my baby away from me. So I rang my sister and I told her, and she was, I'm on my way. So she came and she took me straight down. Like, me and my sister is my best friend. Like, she's just...
She sounds like your criminal cohort.
Yes, do you know, she, for a very long time, she co-signed my bullshit for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Do you know, but she's the best. Like, you know, like, whenever I got really sick, she looked after my children because my mum wasn't fit and my dad wasn't fit. So she looked after my children, you know, and like, we used to go out and all at the weekends, and I'd be using, and she never used like drugs. I know alcohol is drug, but she never used like party drugs or anything.
It wasn't a drug.
Yeah, you know, she's not one of us. You know, so she can drink sociably and go home.
Like a normal person.
Yeah, normal. You know, so she is. She's a very big part of my life and my recovery. You know, and like, she's really good. She is really good. But she took me down to see my son, and I remember sitting and being all like, looking at him, being like, oh, I'm not taking any more tablets, because I was on these like certain like mental health tablets, and I wasn't allowed to breastfeed. Do you know? So I was like, I really, really wanted to breastfeed him because he was in Skaboo, and he was so small, and I thought that if I breastfed, you know, the golden syrup or something, I thought that this would make him better. And like, you know, and they told me that I wasn't allowed to breastfeed because of the medication that I was on. And then I was sitting thinking, like, they don't know half the stuff that I'm on, so maybe that's a good idea that I'm not breastfeeding.
Right.
And I remember looking at him and being like, I'm giving up everything and blah blah blah. And I think that lasted for about 3 hours. And then I went back upstairs and I just used to go to sleep. And then I got up the next morning and I used so I could go down and see him. And then I got home, and then he got home, and I just used because I had to use. Do you know, no matter what I said to myself, I could not stop. So that was all right. That went on for years, and then my mum got diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer.
Oh, brutal. And she already had MS?
Yeah, she had MS, and she's diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. And so that fucking ripped us apart, like, you know. And mummy got very, very sick. So she did, and me and my sister and my brother, the 3 of us all like looked after her, and then daddy was doing what he could do and stuff, you know. And then mummy died, so she did, and it's yeah, like, you know, she was my best friend, so she was. And like, I could have went to her with anything, and she would have been like, she would have sorted it out like that, you know. She would have been like, right. Or she would have been like, for fuck's sake, you know. It's just, you could have went to her with anything, you know. And mummy died, and that whole time the mummy was sick and mummy was dying, I was using, you know, and I was using because I could not deal with the feelings and dealing with the children, you know, the relationship that I got in Bluestone. It sort of, that's the institution, it sort of became a relationship of convenience. You know, he was here, so I could run down to my mum, and I could do stuff with my mum, and you know, like, it was a relationship of convenience. That's exactly what it was. There was no love, there was no intimacy, there was nothing. It was just, he was here minding the kids, so I could go to my mum, you know, and I could use, you know, and he knew that I was using, but he didn't say anything. And I went down, I was with my mum, and you know, I was with my mum until she passed. And although I was completely out of it, you know, I'm glad that I was there. You know, I'm raging that I was using. I'm raging that my mum has never seen me clean. I'm raging that, you know, on the way to bury my mum, I was in the back of the car thinking, how am I going to get these into me without anybody seeing? Instead of being worried about putting my mum down a hole. Do you know, it was more, how am I going to get these into me? Do you know, and I went to the bathroom and people had to wait on me. Do you know, coming out, and I came out, and then everybody went to the pub afterwards. I didn't go to the pub. I came home here and I used here on my own. Do you know, I didn't want to be, it's not that, oh, my mum just died. I just wanted to use because I wanted to escape that my mum just died, and I didn't want to be talking to people, and I didn't want, you know, so I used. And
How long until you get clean? Like how did you progress to get there?
I got clean. My friend, he was in the other fellowship, and he was in the middle of a relapse, and he died.
Oof.
And he just lived there, like next door, and he died. And his son is the same age as my eldest son, and his son had to work on him. And I thought, I cannot do this to my children.
You, huh?
It scared the life out of me because he was younger than me, and he was a big man. He was a big, healthy man. He was he boxing, everything, and it wiped him like that. You know, so I was out talking to another neighbour, and she had said to me, if he had came to me, I could have got him in. And I was like, but it was for, you know, tablets and all that there. And she was like, yeah. And I said, really? And she was like, yeah. And I says,
But wait, got him in where?
into treatment.
Oh.
And I says, can I talk to you without, you know, anybody knowing? And she was like, yeah. And I says, I am fucked. And she was like, what? With what? And I told her. And she was like, holy fuck. She was like, right. And I was like, okay. And she was like, you need a meeting. I was like, I need a what? And she was like, a meeting. And I was like,
what?
I know. I was like, what's that? Like that there. And she was like, it's a meeting where addicts meet and they talk. And I was like, what? Like that there. I was like, right. And she was like, I'll take you tonight. And I was like, oh no. And she was like, why? And I was like, because I'm using. And she was like, so? And I was like, okay. We got there. So she picked me up at 7:00 and took me to my first meeting. And I went in, and everybody was so friendly. Everybody, all the big hugs. And I was just like, what the fuck has she brought me to? People hugging me, asking me my name. And I was just like, I was in that much of a jam. I couldn't even talk properly.
Did you think it was a cult?
I didn't know
something?
I didn't know what it was. I just thought, and then the lights went out. So once ever the lights went out, I was dead. I was just like,
Was it like a candlelight meeting?
yeah. And I was like, oh, sweet Jesus. I was like, this, that. I was like, they're going to start singing. And I didn't know what. And then I was sitting and I wasn't listening. There's no point in saying I was, because I was clean off my head. I was shitting myself because I was in a room that was dark with this wee candle. People were talking and I was just like, this woman is batshit crazy. She has brought me to a cult. I was like what? So I was just like, afterwards, people, I got my white key tag and people were saying, keep coming back and all. And I was, okay. Together. So we left and she was like, well, what do you think of that? And I was like, a bit different, isn't it? I got there and she was like, yeah. And I was like, well, like, what's the crack with the hugs? And she was like, she started laughing and she was just like, you'll get it. And I was like, I'll get fuck all. So I came home here and I continued to use, and she told me, she says to me, cut down on blah, 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 and cut this out and do it. And so I was like, right, yep. And I was trying, working, and she came over the next day and she says to me, meeting tonight. And I was like, another one? And she says, yes. And I was like, right, okay. And she was like, how'd you get on today? I says, no. I was like, I've used today. And she was like, that's fine. She was like, meeting tonight. I was right, okay. She took me to the meeting and the same thing happened. Lights went out and I was just like, I can't do that. And I was just like, no. And I still wasn't listening. And I was just like, no, I really don't think this is for me. And then I came home the next day. I came home and I was standing there at the sink, and she came in and she says, well, how'd you get on today? I said, yeah, great. And she was like, did you use? I said, no. I got there and she was like, brilliant. And I was like, yeah. And she says to me, she went on talking, and then she says to me, she says, Charlene, she was like, the only way this is going to work is if you're honest. And I was like, yeah. She was like, honest with yourself. She was like, you don't have to be honest with anybody else, but you have to be honest with yourself. And I was like, yeah, I am. We got there and she was like, that's okay. She's like, pick you up at 7 o'clock for the meeting. I was like, okay. We got there.
Snide.
I know. So we got to the meeting and I was sitting and I was like, right. So I started listening. And it was the first meeting I shared at. And
really?
Yeah. And I opened my mouth and I started crying. And I was just like, I lied to you. I am using. And I broke my heart. And I was like, I am using and all. And after the meeting, she came up and she gave me the biggest hug. And she whispered, she's like, I knew. She was like, I was like, how? And she's like, an addict can always tell. And I was like, right. We got there and then we were going home. And we were going round the roundabout and she stopped. She stopped the car and she says to me, she says, Charlene, she was like, you've came up to bigger things than this. She's like, and you've won. She was like, you can do this. And I says, I really don't think I can. And she was like, you can. And I was like, right. She was like, just believe. And I was like, right. So I came home here and I lifted everything that I had, all the drugs, everything, and I put them in the fire and I lit the fire and I sent her.
So you had fumes going on through the house?
Yeah. So I sent her a video and she says, what's that? I says, that's everything I have. I've burnt. And she was like, holy fuck, that's a bonfire. And I was like, yeah. So that was February 13th. And February 14th, Valentine's Day, I woke up and I threw my legs out the side of the bed. And I can remember just looking up to the heavens and I was just like, please, God, let me get one day clean. Please.
Wow.
And I got out of bed and that day I decided to paint the house. And I started.
Was that your first day clean?
My first day clean.
What day was it?
February 14th. It was
What year?
2020. No, 2022. Sorry. So,
So
2
you
years.
have how many years?
I'm 2 years clean. Yeah. So that was the first day in about 30 years that I got clean, and it was unbelievable. I went to a meeting and I shared I am clean, and everybody was like, well done, and it was so loud and the ringing in my ears, and everybody was just so pleased that I got one day clean. And then I was told, keep coming back, and I kept coming back, and it was just amazing. The things that I've experienced in recovery has blown my mind.
Yeah.
It really has, do you know?
So that at your first day clean, let's get to that one.
Yeah.
And we start doing some 4-step questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can have smoke. You can take a break anytime you want.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
No, fire on. Fire on there.
Fire on.
Yep.
Now that you say that, I imagine you as a 12-year-old running around with a Molotov cocktail.
I know, dog, go on, firing it across the fields.
Jen and I and Jake went and did a Belfast tour yesterday.
Yeah.
So we saw a lot of the area where...
Amazing. Amazing. Like,
yeah, bullet holes in the walls. And
I remember that wall getting built. Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's... Like, we have stuff in the United States that's like something... Not the same.
Yeah.
But we have like similar situations where there's warring parties on both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, all the gangs and everything.
Like, I was talking to Jake there whenever we were in Dublin, and he was saying about I asked about school shootings, because that blows my mind, do you know? And he was like, yeah, we do drills maybe 3 times a year. And I was like, what? I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, he's like, it's pretty normal. And I was just like, that's normal for you.
Yeah.
Where throwing a petrol bomb was normal for me. Do you know, it's like, if my child came home and says we were doing a drill for school shooting, I'd be pulling them out of school and everything. But it's normal, do you know, for you.
Well, I mean, it's not normal. It's just a hard fact.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you know?
That's a whole different...
Yeah.
All right, so first day clean. Do you remember a reservation when you first got here?
Yes. Oh, I had loads. My kids, if anything happened to my kids, if anything happened to my daddy, and if I got sick.
You got sick?
Yeah. Because if I got sick...
Like cancer sick? Or
no,
got
just...
a cold?
No, like if I hurt my back, or if I, you know, like if I hurt myself.
If you needed pain medication.
Yeah. Do you know, that scared me a lot. So it did. And it was like, if I was to use them as prescribed, could I?
Mm-hmm.
No, I couldn't.
You didn't think you could?
I didn't think I could.
Yeah.
Do you know, I would be like, my head was like, no, you definitely couldn't. You'd be right back to where you were. And, do you know, and then with the kids, if anything happened to the kids, I didn't think I could. I didn't think, do you know?
Yeah.
I had a lot of what ifs, and, you know, like, yeah, I think that would put me over the edge or whatever, but...
Do you have any of those still today?
No, because if anything happened to, God forbid, if anything happened to any of my children, I still have other children to be there for,
Mm-hmm.
do you know? And if
Have you seen other people go through it?
Not in recovery, do you know? I've seen people lose their parents and go through it, do you know? But I've never seen somebody like lose a child in recovery, thank God.
I think the longer you stay clean, the more you experience
Yeah.
all your reservations that people can
Yeah, 100%.
experience.
But I would like to think that if anything happened to anybody that I love, you know, I still have a purpose to be clean, you know, and I would like to think I would still have that drive to stay clean.
Yeah.
You know, and with if I hurt myself, like I had to go through 2 major surgeries in recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to get a hysterectomy and I got my gallbladder removed and I got through it. You know, I
Managed the pain medication?
managed it to the point where it became very like, well, I'm not taking it too early, I'm not taking it too late. You know, like I didn't take any of the medication home with me. You know, that was just purely to make sure that I was safe. I didn't take any medication home with me. I used it while I was in the hospital under the doctor's supervision.
Nice.
I was completely honest with the doctor, told the doctor that I am addicted to opioids, and he totally understood absolutely everything. He worked with me. He prescribed me what I was allowed. I broke my heart to the doctor and I says, like, you know, I really don't want to go back to where I was. And he was like, we don't want that either.
Yeah. No,
Do you know? So I done what I had to do to get through the pain of it, and it was managed.
Yeah.
It was managed, like, you know. And then I got really sick with my gallbladder, and I was taken in, and I can remember I was blue lighted to another hospital. So
Blue light?
yeah, so that's like urgent. You were in the back of an ambulance. And I can remember lying there and I got this feeling, just that feeling of the morphine going. And I was like, and I opened my eyes and I was like, and I looked at, I was, what the fuck did you do? And they were like, what? I was like, did you just give me morphine? And they were like, yeah. And then I went into full absolute panic. I was like, I have relapsed in a ring. I was like, oh, that poor ambulance person, what I said and what I didn't say to them, called them everything. And I was just, and they're like, what? And I was like, I've relapsed. And they're like, what? I was like, and then they were like, but you really haven't. And they explained it to me then, you know, like,
yeah,
it's medical. And I was like, it doesn't fucking matter. So I was on the phone, I was outside on the phone to my sponsor, crying my eyes out. And she was like, sweet Jesus, Charlene. She was like, what's the state of you? And I was like, what? And she was like, when was the last time you slept? And I was like, I don't know. My hair was standing on end. My eyes were hanging out of my head. I was crying because I got morphine. And she was like, it's perfectly fine. She was like, it was prescribed. She was like, you're in pain. She was like, it's not like you're, you know, using. She was like, it's to help you.
Yeah.
So then whenever I started being like, right, okay, I started to relax. And, it was awful. So it was, I thought, that's it. I'm back to square one, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I started listening to my sponsor and she suggested that I read the pamphlet on medication and recovery. And then she suggested to reach out to other members. So I done all that. And then
you were all right.
I was all right.
Yeah.
Do you know? So
yeah.
I was just like, right, okay.
It's funny. I had a situation, I think I had like 25 years clean or so.
Oh, no.
Maybe not that, but I had quite a bit of clean time.
Yeah.
And I was working, and my cousin we'd go across the street to the grocery store and get a snack, you know, and come back. He got energy drinks, you know, like you love Red Bulls.
Yeah.
I was drinking those at the time, energy drinks, and he gave me one, and I'm working, drinking this thing, and then I finish it, and I just happened to look at what it was, and it had alcohol in it, and I'm like, I know that feeling because I fucking panicked.
Yes,
exactly
it's like, oh
what
God.
you did. But I called my sponsor right away, and my sponsor then was James.
Yeah.
And he goes, Kevin, was it your? Well, he's from Ireland, so he was swearing a lot.
Yeah.
Kevin, was it your fucking intention to get loaded?
Yeah.
And he said, keyword was intention.
Yeah.
Like, no, it was an accident. And you didn't set out to change the way you feel.
Yeah.
All right, relax, let go, get out of your fucking head, is what he told me.
That's it.
And so it wasn't my intention.
I know, it was just sheer panic and the fear of going back to square one.
Yeah.
It was just the absolute fear of it. And I was like, oh my God, I have relapsed and I didn't even mean to do it.
That's what scares me is pain medication.
Yeah.
You know? It's because I'm old.
Yeah. It's
so
just...
it scares me too.
Yeah.
All right. So that was reservation. What about resentment? When you tell me one resentment when you first got clean, and if you have any today.
I resented my mum for dying. I resented my mum for dying because she left me and I know it wasn't her fault. Do you know, and that's the crazy thing. I resented her for dying. Do you know, like, I can't resent her for my childhood because it was, you know, it was a good childhood. I just resented her for dying. Do you know? And
sounds like she was a good mom to you.
She was the best, do you know? And I know people are probably sitting going, I have the best. I really did. Do you know? I had the best parents. I really did. You know, but I resented my mum for dying, and it took a lot of work on that. Do you know, like it wasn't her fault. You know, and I'm sure if she could change, she did. As my sister said, I'm sure Anne didn't want to die. Do you know? And, you know, like we have a very warped sense of humour when it comes to death and stuff. Do you know? Like it's just.
So just from experience, I would know that resentment about your mom dying. A lot of that, if you dig deeper, you know, it comes from abandonment. Right?
Yeah,
so she left you.
Yeah, but I was never abandoned as a child.
Not as a child, but when she passed away.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
You're missing your mom.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100% miss her like crazy. You know, yeah, but I worked through that, and I don't resent her now. You know, I don't. I love her and all. And I'm trying to think, what resentment do I have now? Do
you have any more from?
From whenever I was using. Honestly, I resented my children. Do you know?
For getting in the way of.
Yeah. Do you know, I resented my children for a while because they were in my way. Do you know? And fucking awful.
But you were loaded.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know? So
when you were clean, you didn't resent your kids. Yeah.
No. Do you know? Now, my resentments now. I honestly don't think I have any. I try not to resent people because it's a lot of writing in the steps, you know. So I try not to resent people. So I'll be like, that's their stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Because I did have a lot of resentments in my first set of steps, and it was a lot of writing, you know. And my sponsor always says, she always just said to me, is the resentment worth the writing? No, it's fucking not. Do you know? So it's like, right.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So So I try not to resent people because it is a lot of writing. So that's their stuff. Like, you know, it is what it is. And I try to, I'm not fucking perfect. Of course there's people and I resent. I just probably can't think of them right now. Do you know?
Yeah, there's a common one, at least for a lot of us. Might not be true for you.
Yeah.
That we get here and we resent ourselves.
Yes. I resent myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember my sponsor, and this is a big thing in sponsorship in the States, is like you go on the top of the resentment list.
Oh, yeah. I was the first person I put in my resentment list.
Yeah.
Do you know, and I'd say I would probably be the first person I put in the resentment list again. Do you know, because I still have a lot of shame and guilt to work through, and I still have a lot of self to work on. Do you know, like whenever I first came into recovery, my self-worth was on the ground. My self-respect was on the ground. Do you know, now I'm up, but I'm not where I should be. And you know, and I will get there whenever, you know, I will get there eventually. Do you know, like learning to love myself and all, that's very hard.
Instead of saying where I should be, you say where I want to be.
Yeah, that's where I want.
Because when you say where I should be, that's like an expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I suppose where I want to be is where, you know, I'm okay with myself.
Yeah.
Do you know, and I am working through a lot of that there too, do you know, but yeah, no, I resent myself. So I do, but working.
Every once in a while I still do it.
Yeah.
I still resent myself for stuff that I've done.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, do you know, I was always told that you're not responsible for your addiction, but you are responsible for your recovery. And I am trying my hardest at the minute, you know, like to be the good mum, you know, like my eldest, you know, yourself, he's going into treatment, and I have a lot of shame and guilt around that. A lot, you know. My wee girl, she says we took her to a concert, and you know, we were letting her have her first alco pop, and she was like, "Oh God, no!" And we were like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because I don't want to be like you." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "I don't want to be an addict." And I was like, "Oh God," you know. So of that, and then my baby, God only knows what he's going to come out with. God only knows.
Yeah. Well, like we said, you'd only set the example.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you know, if I stay clean, I know that I'm in with a chance, and my kids are in with a chance. But if I use, all that goes out the window.
Okay. So that's resentment.
Yeah.
How about fears? Did fear of some kind affect the way you interact in relationships?
Yes. Yes.
like name a couple of fears when you got here.
Whenever I got here, I was afraid that I couldn't do it.
Fear of failure.
Yeah. I was afraid
Me
that I was going to use, and I was afraid that letting everybody down, being a letdown yet again. You know, I have fears. I still have that fear that one of my exes will end up in the room. Like, do you know, I have a fear of that, and
why? Because it would be uncomfortable?
Yes, very uncomfortable.
Okay, what if they needed to get clean?
100%. But there's other meetings.
But yeah.
No, that's very selfish. I'm only joking.
Yeah.
Of course, if they come into the rooms, I would just...
It's still a fear, though.
Yeah, I would have to treat them like another addict and be like, keep coming back through gritted teeth.
To a different room.
exactly. It'd be like, there are other meetings, you know, but no, like if any of them showed up, I think I would take myself to a different meeting.
Yeah, if you had to.
Yeah. You know, I would let them get clean in Uri, but I would probably go to a different meeting, you know, where before it was, if they walked in, I would walk out. Not that I would go to another meeting. I would just walk out and probably use. But now I know if they walked in, that's okay. I can go to other meetings. Do you know, it's a big fellowship. It's small in Ireland compared to America, but it's a big fellowship.
Yeah.
I can go anywhere and feel welcome. Do you know? So
Right, yeah.
I have that, and then like other fears, just I have fears that I've damaged my children.
Mm.
You know, I have
That's
fears.
legitimate.
I have fears around that, and like I've a fear of Dublin. Do you know?
You have a fear of Dublin?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, you got loaded in Dublin.
Yeah, so there's a lot.
Bad things happen.
Yeah, so I have a fear of there. So when we were down, it was nice to be there in good company and just to chill. You know, where at one point I was very relaxed, and then there was another point I was very like, right, I need to like get out of here or something. You know, I started to panic, but I had you there and I had my partner there, and it was all grand. You know, and I got through it.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel now that maybe Dublin is a fear, but it's not as bad of a fear as what it was, if that makes sense.
It does.
You know, and yeah, just fears that I fucked my children up. That, you know, and looking at my eldest son.
Dude, when my first child was born, and I was like a weekend dad or something, you know, that we weren't together. And my sponsor, I had that fear, and I was telling my sponsor about it. It's like that's your introduction to powerlessness.
Yep.
Right? Because you can't do anything about it. Grows up, but what you could do is set the example, right? You stay clean. You work the steps.
Yep.
Right? And treat your son well.
Yeah. Do you know, that's another thing that I struggle with is the powerlessness whenever it comes to my children.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's like my first sponsor, she used to say, hand it over. And I'd be like, hand what over? And she'd be like, hand your children over. I said, she looked at me to hand them over to social services. I said, what are you on about? And she was like, looking at me, and she's like, powerlessness. And I was like, oh, okay. Do you know, I had no idea what, like, see, whenever you first come in and people start talking about powerlessness, handing it over, hand this over, hand that over. It's like, what are you on about? Like, hand what over? Do you know? And then it's like, I get it. But like, do you know, I hand it over. I take it back. I hand it over. I might hand it over about 20 times a day. But at least I'm doing it. Do you know? It's very, 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 very hard to hand your children over. It's like, my eldest, it's like I just want to punch him repeatedly until he gets it. Do you know, I want to tie him to a chair in the meeting.
And those feelings are all behind fear.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Do you know, like now I know I'm completely powerless over him. He has to do his work. He has to do it. If he wants to go to treatment, he has to do it. Mummy can't be running and getting him his doctor's note and running and doing this and doing that. Do you know, I will support him the best I can, but I am completely powerless over. If he goes out and uses, I'm completely powerless. Nothing I can do.
You know what Jen says? Our children have their own higher power.
100%.
And our children have their own path.
100%.
And it's not us. It's not ours.
No. But sometimes I just want to take it.
You know what I say?
Yeah.
When she says that? She says about like sponsees too.
Yeah.
When I'm complaining about a sponsee.
Yeah.
She go like, well, he has his own path.
Yeah.
Like, no, he fucking fell off the path.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
He's spiraling. Because no, that's his own path. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
I get it.
No, it's just, I know he has his own path, but I just want to plop him over onto my path for a wee while, get him into treatment, get him on, and then plop him back on his own path and be like, no, do you know, but again, that's just being a mum, do you know?
That's, yeah. So we talked about shame and guilt, and so a lot of it.
A lot.
Yeah. So childhood shame and guilt.
Yeah.
Using shame and guilt, your children's shame and guilt.
Yep.
So we kind of covered all of that.
Yeah.
You had your fears in early recovery were like fear of not staying clean.
Yeah. The fear of not staying clean, fear of the damage that I've done has fucked my children up completely. The fear that, you know, just people will hear my story and just be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Do you know, like, you had absolutely no reason to use.
You know, we're talking about when we share stuff at meetings, and you never thought you would hear your story.
Yeah.
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 I was sharing, in the States we do a lot of events. I know here you guys don't put together a lot of events. But I was sharing at an event, and I talked about, it's like one of the first times I ever talked at a big group level about being molested as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? And I talked about, so afterwards, somebody in the crowd came up to me and named the person that molested me. He shook his head, or he nodded his head and said, "Yeah," and I've never talked about it. So me sharing that gave him permission to walk through that.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good lesson.
Yeah, it really is.
So for me, it's just a fact that happened.
Yeah.
It doesn't bring up any more shame and guilt.
I want to get to that point, and I know that I will get to that point.
Yeah.
I just have.
It's hard.
Yeah. Do you know? And the only way I'm going to get to that point is if I stay clean and I practice my program.
There you go.
Do you know? I know that's the only way it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I am perfectly okay with the thought of like never using again, or sitting having a sociable drink. Or I am okay with that. Give me a Red Bull, I'll be grand. Do you know, I am dead on with just sitting and never ever use. I'm okay with it. But just for today, I know that I will be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So what consequences from your past are you dealing with today? Didn't sound like you got in trouble with police or anything.
No, I was very good at getting away from them. Hey, let me see. Probably, do you know, the family, the trust and rebuilding the trust.
Yeah.
You know, with rebuilding the trust with my kids, rebuilding the trust with my sister and, you know, my brother and my dad, you know, and just relationships. You know, I would have trying to show them that, you know, I'm taking this serious, and, you know, I am doing my best, and I know that it's a just for today program. But I really am, you know, and that's all I can do. And, you know, like maybe my son, you know, he would be a big, not a consequence, but him using to me would be he seen me use, you know, monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Do you know, he seen me use, he had to hold my hair back, me being sick. He had to rub my back. He had to roll me on my side. He's seen a lot. He's seen a lot that he shouldn't have seen. Do you know, so maybe that's a consequence, him using.
He has his own trauma that he's working
Yeah,
through.
do you know, so maybe that's a consequence. Do you know, not, I've never said that my children are, but him using, just rebuilding relationships,
All right.
people not trusting you.
Yeah. I mean, some people, like in the States, they get felonies.
Oh, yeah,
And
no.
then if you get a felony, then it's really hard to get a job.
Yeah,
in
no.
certain places.
No, because I never got caught.
Or Hep C from shooting.
Yeah,
girls or
no.
something. Okay.
No.
Well, cool. Let's talk about your assets.
Oh God.
Is that everybody's fear?
Yeah.
To talk about themselves?
I know.
I mean, okay, so like you're funny.
Oh, thank you.
I know that. You have a good sense of humor.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to think that I'm reliable.
Are you?
Well, yeah.
Well, then you are.
Yeah, I am. I'm reliable. Honest, open-mindedness, unwillingness. No, I'm a good mother.
Yeah.
I'm a good sister. I'm a good daughter. My daddy might be like, no, I am. I'm a good daughter. And
Does he see you now clean? Does he think does he have a different outlook about you?
yeah, you know, like
He's proud of you.
Yeah, he's proud of me. I have changed physically too. Like I've lost 7 stone. So do you know
Wait, what's a stone? How many pounds is that?
I think it's 14 pound.
All right.
12 pound or 14 pound, I think.
Yeah.
So I've lost quite a bit of weight.
Is that an asset?
Absolutely, my health.
For health.
Health.
Okay.
Health.
I gotcha.
Let me see. I honestly do think I'm a good person. I do think I'm a good person.
I'm a pretty good judge of character.
Yeah.
And you are.
Yeah. You know, I would help anyone. You know, especially anybody that's struggling. I would.
So compassion.
Yeah.
Empathy.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Did
you ever hear somebody's story at a meeting and start to cry?
Yes.
Okay, so that you're very empathetic.
Yeah, you know, yeah, I just think that I'm a good person, and you know, I'll always try and help somebody. You know, with my sponsees, and no matter, I've always told them, no matter what time it is, no matter what, ring me if you need me. You've been here, you've seen my sponsee just coming
Walk
on,
in the door.
yeah, you know, like it's like I know her story, so I will always be here for her as much as I, you know, like
can.
You know, she'll come in here if she's hungry, she can make something. If she wants to sleep, she can go up to bed and sleep. If she just wants to sit here, she can. You know, and I would have that with all my sponsees.
That's so. I kind of had that feeling about you.
Yeah.
Because Jen and I's house is the exact same way.
Yeah.
We don't answer the door anymore.
No, yeah.
Yeah, the door.
They just come in. It's like, yeah. And if somebody does knock the door, it's like, who the fuck's that?
Well, I'm not getting up.
What have I done now? Yeah, it's like, oh God,
right?
I'm not answering.
Exactly.
Do you know, but like, no, Tony calls me the mother goose. So he does, the mother goose is at her thing, do you know, but I'm just.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, I'm just here for my sponsees because some of them has never had anyone to be there for them.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
I will be there for her and anybody else that needs me.
Cool. I mean, yeah, empathy, compassion. Sounds like you have a lot of really good assets.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unconditional love for your kids.
Absolutely.
I see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Assets. How are you? That was assets. So,
Yeah.
how are you showing your gratitude for your recovery today?
Well, the most importantly one is staying clean and going to meetings, sponsoring people, working my steps, and being open minded to try new things.
Yeah.
And
Like what? What's the newest thing you've tried?
well, traveling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you know, like I've only recently got my passport. Do you know, and
Have you gone anywhere?
yeah, my partner took me away to Tenerife for my 2 years clean.
Where?
Tenerife in Spain, or no, the Canary Islands.
Oh, Canary Islands.
Yeah, so he took me there, and on my clean date, I was sitting in the middle of a volcano watching the sunset.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like I will never experience anything like that again. Do you know? And it was just
awesome,
breathtaking. Do you know? And yeah, just by experiencing life, that is what I want. I just want to experience everything and anything.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Just to live.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good thing that you're doing for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's gratitude.
Yeah. And every day I will thank my higher power.
Yeah.
Every day. I'll thank my higher power. Whether if it's just, cheers for that, or cheers for keeping me clean, or cheers for helping me stay clean, I will always thank my higher power, whether it's just acknowledging it's there, but I will always try to connect with my higher power every day.
That's a good lead into what is your higher power? We can talk about it here.
Yeah.
Like, what's your spirituality look like?
My higher power is the wind, the sun, the waves.
Nature?
It's nature.
Nice.
Just, my partner takes me, every time we're off at his, every night he takes me to the beach. And the waves come in, takes all my troubles away.
Yeah.
I just hand it over to the waves, and the waves just takes it away, and I know that it'll be fine. Do you know, like it's just nature. Do you know, whenever I am either in a forest or by water, I just feel completely at ease. You know, I do believe in magic. I do believe in magic.
Yeah.
I do believe in spells. I do believe in everything to do with the universe, I believe. Do you know? So whenever I first came in and people were using the word God, I was like, oh fuck.
Uh-huh.
Oh Jesus. Do you know, especially here in the north, it's Catholic or Protestant, and you know, it's like, no, that scared me, the word God. And then my first sponsor, she explained to me, she was like, God, she was like, no, she was like, it's a higher power. She was like, that can be the rooms, that can be your meetings, that can be the sky. She was like, that can be a fucking road sign. She was like, whatever keeps you clean. She was like, that day is your higher power. And for a very long time, my higher power was the rooms. Do you know, I would come into the rooms and it was just something lifted, you know, and I sat down, whether I shared or whether I didn't, I got something from that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't get something from that meeting, I knew, don't panic, because there'll be another meeting and you'll get something from that, you know. And that's just what I done for a very long time, whenever I first got clean, you know. And the rooms was my higher power, and then I started to explore other things, you know. And I was always very into nature, and like the sea and stuff. So it was very easy for me to be like, that's it, that's the one, you know.
The same, yeah. It's funny you talked about spells and magic.
Yeah.
You're like the fourth woman that we've interviewed that practices,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
whatever type of magic they're into.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just so, it's so relaxing, and it's just so, it just takes absolutely everything away. You know, you hand it over to the universe, and I know that the universe is going to see me right. You know, if it's meant for me, it's not going to pass me.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not meant for me, that's okay. It's not the end of the world.
No.
Something else is coming.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just the way it is.
Love that.
You know? So,
That's great.
yeah.
So your higher power, after doing your first 4-step, do you remember like something positive that happened for you, or how you felt, or something that...
Whenever I done my first 4th step, me and my sponsor took it out the back and burnt it.
Oh yeah?
And I can remember being like, this is the most stupidest thing ever. And I was sitting watching the papers burn, and it was the last piece of paper that was burning. I started to cry.
I know it.
And I was like, what is wrong with me? And I could not stop crying. And she just held me, and I cried and cried, and I looked at her, and I was like, this is a whole new chapter. And she's like, exactly. So it's a whole new chapter. It's my book that I'm writing, and it's going to be a positive one.
That's awesome.
You know, so.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yep.
And how many sponsors have you had?
Well, 2. One there, and then this one now.
Yeah.
So 2. But for a while, I was sponsorless, so people were just, you know, like stepping in and helping me.
Yeah.
You know, like sponsoring me, but not really sponsoring me. You know, that sort of thing.
I've been there before.
Yeah, because I was just a wee bit, it's not that I was a wee bit lost, it was just, I was trying to find the right person. Mm-hmm. My first sponsor I had way up here, you know. And
on a pedestal, you mean?
Yeah, you know, and my first sponsor is my best friend. Now,
still today?
Today, now, you know, and she is my best friend. But as my sponsor, I had her on a pedestal, and whenever things happened, I had to find a new sponsor, and I was comparing everybody to her. Mm-hmm. You know, she was brutally honest with me. Brutally honest. The first thing she says to me, it's a program of suggestions, and I suggest you do what the fuck you're told. And I was like, okay. You know, so if that woman had told me to run down the street naked, I would have done it. If I thought it'll keep me clean, I would have done it. I done anything, you know, and I had her up here, so I was comparing people and being like, well, you're not that honest, like, you're not that brutally honest, are you? No, you know, or no, you didn't say it like she would have said it, you know, so I had to catch myself on, you know, like, she is who she is, but the sponsor I have now is...
Her way doesn't always fit for everybody.
I will always say it, I needed that.
Yeah.
See, whenever I first got clean, I needed somebody to be brutally honest with me. If you don't do what you're told, you're going to die. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I needed that. And it was like whenever I first met her, I thought, you're a bit of a bitch, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you know, because she was just honest. She had no time for bullshit. You know, she followed the traditions. She set an example in the rooms. Do you know, and it was like, yeah.
That's cool.
That's what I want.
And the sponsor you have today?
Yeah, she's great. So she is. We've only started the sponsor relationship, but she's good. You know, she's been around for a while, and I can't wait to work the steps with her. And I want to do the traditions.
Yeah.
I really, really want to do
the concepts.
Yeah, I was reading the concepts last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was sitting, I was reading them, and I said, And Tony was like, what is it, pet? And I said, nothing. And I was reading on, and and then I and he's like, what is it now? And I'm, no, nothing. I'm just reading it, you know. So I was reading the concepts too. So I'm going to take the book that he has, and I'm going to read it. Just have a wee nose, you know. But it's funny that you mentioned that there. But yeah, no, I definitely want to do the traditions. Like, I really do. And I think the way that we're going to do it is like step one, tradition one. That way.
I've done that before.
Yeah, so do it that way or something.
That's cool.
I don't know. You know, and you know, just see what happens. You know, keep going because I'm excited. You know, and
that is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I just really want to dive more into it and understand it a bit more. And
I didn't. I get that because I didn't start like doing any traditions or concepts until after I had like 15 years clean.
Very good. But I would like to do the concepts because I do service, you know, and there's no point in doing service if you don't actually understand everything about it, you know. So I want to understand everything. So if somebody comes up to me and says X, Y, and Z, I can be like, you know, and tell them exactly. But at the minute, if somebody came up to me, I'd be like, oh, I'd have to get back to you. Do you know, like I know I'm GSR, so I know what my position is and I know what I'm meant to be doing, do you know, and I know that there, but I would like to just understand the structure of it more.
Yeah,
and
traditions will really help you with that.
Yeah, do you know, and I just wanna learn. Do you know?
You heard the saying, the steps will teach you how to deal with yourself.
Yeah.
Traditions will teach you how to deal with other people.
As my first sponsor said, the steps will stop you from killing yourself, and the traditions will stop you from killing somebody else. Do you know? So I was, oh, that's good. I really do need to do them.
Yeah.
Do you know? But
it's true though.
Yeah. But no, it's just NA is just absolutely amazing. Do you know? And just keep coming back. Do you know?
So this is, we're done with the questions.
Yeah.
So this is part of our podcast where we ask you if you have any like really crazy stories. It could be from using or clean, crazy or uplifting or something really special that stands out in your mind.
Probably New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Just gone.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Just all members, me, my partner, my first sponsor and her partner were here. Oh, and another member was here, and we were playing silly games like for children, and it was just really good, heartfelt shits and giggles, you know. And then at midnight, my first sponsor, my friend, she hugged me and she said, do you remember sitting in the meeting and crying and saying that you'll never have a life again? And I was like, yep. And my life has only started.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just amazing. I honestly thought that I would never laugh. I would never have the wild nights of crack and the wild nights of whatever. And it's all just starting from I've Got Clean.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know, like having the good, honest crack. You know, we were sitting around the kitchen table playing games, singing and having just laughs. Where before I would have been sitting around the kitchen table sniffing and taking whatever I could and talking shite thinking I was going to save the world. Do you know, where it's like just completely different.
Convincing yourself you're going to travel the world?
Absolutely.
But never get out of the neighborhood?
And never had a passport. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just absolutely, it blows my mind that I was 41 by the time I got a passport. Do you know?
Yeah, did you ever think that you'd be sitting in a volcano and watching the sunset?
Unbelievable. Do you know, like the gifts, people always say to me the gifts of recovery, and I was always like, yes, they're talking shit. Do you know what I mean? I have no idea what you're on about, but the gifts of recovery, whether that's getting a fucking passport or whether that's seeing your children fucking walk down the stairs at Christmas to see what Santa brought them, not off your nut. The fact that there is Christmas stuff underneath the tree,
yeah, that's crazy,
is magical to me. Do you know, it's simple things, as people say, it's the simple things. Very simple for me. As long as my kids are happy, I'm happy. Do you know, I am in a loving relationship. I never, ever, ever thought I would ever be back in a relationship.
I like kind of question your choice, but okay, whatever.
No.
It's your relationship.
Well, this is very true. He's an acquired taste. So he is. But, you know, he's just, I never once thought that I would end up in a relationship with somebody that respects me and allows me to have an opinion. Do you know what I mean? That blew my mind.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah, it blew my mind that, you know, we will have an argument and it'll go quiet and there's not a hiding or a fucking baiting coming. He's just quiet because he's quiet and he doesn't want to argue. Do you know, like before, for me, if I got in an argument, there was a baiting coming if somebody went quiet. So I knew, like, oh fuck, here we go. Where whenever he goes quiet, it's like,
there's no fear now.
No, there's not. Do you know? And see,
Trust?
Trust.
Yeah.
It's the whole package.
So this is like a lot of this is all new for you.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, welcome.
I know, it's great. Do you know, the gifts of recovery just keep on giving.
I know, that's awesome.
Do you know, and like I always say it, all I want to be is happy. I am happy.
Yeah.
Do you know, there's days and you might look at me and be like, she is a sour looking cunt. But I am happy. You can't be happy all the time. But I am happy and I am content. And
that's a good word.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
But I only have that through NA.
Yeah.
And do you know, I know that. And I can only keep on having that if I do what I'm told. Do you know, and that's working the steps.
I suggest you do what you're told.
Yeah, I suggest to do what you're told.
That's awesome.
No.
Yeah, we used to have this guy when I was new. He was, I told you a little bit about him. His name was Bob, but he was really, really rough.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think I would have liked Bob.
Yeah, you might have. But one of his sayings was, it's a big saying back in the day when I was king, is work the steps or die, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And that's
it.
Shit.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's all. It's a simple program for complicated people.
Yeah.
And we complicate
like
the fuck out of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, great.
All right. Well, thank you very much. This is really cool.
Thank you.
It's not bad for you.
I know. No,
Yeah.
it's great. It's actually really enjoyable.
Yeah. We're just having a conversation, like I said.
Yeah, it's
All
great.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything. And everybody, I hope you enjoy the episode. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate you being here and being part of this community. Just a quick heads up before we wrap. The people we talk to on this show are just sharing their own personal stories. They do not speak for any specific recovery program or group. It's just their experience, strength, and hope. Well, that's it for now, and please remember that you can follow us on any of your streaming platform that you listen to, and somewhere in there on that streaming platform there is a donate button if you care to help out with our monthly fees that we have to pay to produce each episode, and there's a follow button. There's also somewhere on your streaming platform you can text us and send us a response or email or check-in. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you.